Want to speak real German from your very first lesson? Get instant access with your free lifetime account at langadvance.com.
Salam everyone and welcome to the course German for Engineers. My name is Karim Abdelwahab. I am a mechanical engineer who living in Germany for 8 years. Now I am working in aerospace industry. I had a C1 certificate in German language. This course for you to master your engineering knowledge in German. I have designed this course in different chapters. Each chapter has a topic. The first chapter is about how to get a job in Germany. Where should you look? What document should you provide? And how to equivalent your certificate to a German one. And also, what are the different types of engineering position in the German market. In this chapter, we will talk about those points starting from how to find a job, how to apply, until you get a positive feedback. In the first chapter, after you get a positive feedback for an interview, we will talk about 10 points in the interview, starting from the greeting, die Begrüßung, exchange information, Informationen austauschen, your study, Studium, your training or internship, das Praktikum, your work experience, Berufserfahrung, your language, die Sprachen, till the end of the interview, sich verabschieden. After that, we will go to chapter 2, die erste Woche. Chapter 2 talks about the first week in the company, how you get used to the company, your colleagues, and the system. In this chapter, we will talk about 5 different topics, starting from the greeting, die Begrüßung, company description or company tour, Firma beschreiben or Werksführung. We will talk about your contact person, der Ansprechpartner, and the last point, Verständnis sichern, how to ensure understanding in different meetings or for different tasks. After that, we will go to chapter 3, which will talk about the daily life in the office, in Büro. We will talk about 4 different engineering departments. The design department, Beruf und Zulassung-Abteilung, the approval department, Planungsabteilung, planning department, and Fertigungsabteilung, manufacturing department. After that, we will talk about emails. All of the previous chapters focused on conversation. You will speak with your colleague, you will speak with your boss, you will present your idea, you will talk in a meeting, and so on. That's why all the previous chapters are designed as a conversation between you and your colleague or your boss. Chapter 4 focus on writing. How to write an email, a professional one. If you have a question, how to ask, how to deliver an answer, and how to talk about certain tasks. And at the end, here are some way of contacts. And for you guys, there is a Facebook group if you want to exchange information, if you want to be a part of this community. Also, there are ways of contact for me if you want to contact me for private sessions and so on. I am really excited and I hope that you join this journey with me. Salam everyone, welcome to chapter 0 of our course. We are going to dive right into the practical steps of finding an engineering job in Germany. The process is a journey. It's not just about sending out a CV. There is a clear path that most people follow. We will go through each of these steps from the very beginning to hopefully getting an interview. I will also share my own journey as a fresh graduate with an engineering degree from abroad, not from Germany, and I will walk you through the process of applying for a job until you get one. First, let's look at berufliche soziale Netzwerke or professional social networks. The two most important platforms for professionals are LinkedIn and Xing. Think of LinkedIn and Xing not just places to find a job, but as platforms to build your professional brand and connect with people. Xing is often called the German LinkedIn, and there is a good reason for that. It's popular in the DACH region. D for Deutschland or Germany, A for Austria, and the rest for Switzerland. While many profiles are in English, the platform's core in German. You will find a lot of jobs posting in German. Also, a big advantage of the website is the salary expectation. Having a good profile in German on Xing can be a big advantage. LinkedIn, the global network. LinkedIn is English friendly. LinkedIn is not just for finding jobs, it's a content platform, also known for building your professional brand. Now let's look at job portals. These are very different from social networks. Indeed is a global job portal like LinkedIn in social network, and Stepstone is one of Germany's largest and most popular job portals. From my point of view, I like to use both Stepstone with LinkedIn. For example, what I like in Stepstone, having the salary expectation, and also you can find a lot of useful information like someone to speak with, your Ansprechpartner. For example, you can search for him and contact him personally if you have any questions. Also, you have the salary expectation, brutto, which means before taxes. So we have a lot of units, but we can search with the company as well. Yeah, here he is. So now we can go in and type him a message or DM and asking him about his position. So at the end, the main difference, networks are about getting found, you build a strong profile, and recruiters reach out to you. Portals are about searching, find a job, and you reach the recruiters. You can do the same here as well. But a combination of both, that's what I do. Especially Stepstones gives you the web of contact for many job opportunities. During my looking for an engineering job in Germany, I have found three main types of companies, each with a different business model and career path. First, there are main companies like Airbus, BMW, which build and sell their own products. As engineer here, you will be an in-house expert. These roles often offer high stability and are the best and the hardest to find and to get accepted. Second, there are external or consulting firms like Accenture, which sell their services to other companies. An engineer here is a consultant who works on many projects for many clients. One of those clients can be Airbus, can be BMW, and so on. Here in this case, You work with Accenture software, hardware, and sometimes you work in Accenture building. However, you're working for a different customer. Finally, there are technical service called Leiharbeitkraft. I think it means like staffing companies. I have seen most of those companies start or end with personal. I have found this format a lot. Here in Starto, you will find a lot of jobs as well, and they are partner with those big companies like Airbus. In this model, it's a combination between the last two models. You work in so many cases inside the main company building, like Airbus, for example, working on their software, working on their hardware, but your contract is with this company. At the end of your contract, if the client really wants you, there is an opportunity that you receive a job offer from the client. I have worked with the last two models I mentioned, and I want to tell you about my experience. The external model was a really bad experience for me. I was working with many engineers who had very little experience in the field. This made my career progress slowly and led to many mistakes. You don't learn a lot, but you end up making a lot of errors. These external companies often try to hire many fresh graduates so they can offer the lowest salary. The problem is that there is often no one with great experience to talk with or to ask him questions. The only time you can get feedback is during a virtual meeting when you're presenting your work to the client. On the other hand, working as Leiharbeitkraft, you work directly inside the main company itself, alongside with the in-house engineers who have many years of experience. Here you can make your mistakes in the first couple of months, get fast feedback, and quickly improve yourself. That was my personal experience, and it doesn't mean it applies to all companies. Moving to the main step, Bewerbung vorbereiten, which preparing your application. Your application in Germany typically includes your CV, motivation letter, and your document and certificates. Your CV, this is your most important document. It needs to be clear and professional, and it should detail your education, work experience, and skills. Motivation letter. This letter explains why you are interested in the job and the company. Certificates. Any certificates or documents that can be relevant, like courses, certificates, language certificates like German or English, professional certificates from your previous company, or even courses certificates. But if you have a certificate from a non-German university, I recommend you to get another document called a recognition of your certificate. Anerkennung ausländischer Bildungsabschlüsse. There you can find a lot of different fields. In engineering page, you will find to fill the Antrag or to fill the application, which document do you need. And after that, you can contact the people here if you have any question. I applied for this document and it took almost 4 to 5 months to get it, and the cost is almost 200 euros. My opinion is this document is really important, especially when you are applying with no experience. It officially states that your foreign degree is equal to a German one, and give you the title engineer. Also, if your certificate is not in German or in English language, you have to translate it or apply for the English version of your certificate, your bachelor or master degree from your university. Once you have prepared your application, you will send it off. The next step is a period of waiting. Don't be worried by rejection, it's a normal part of the process. I will not tell you how many rejection I got before I got my first engineering job in Germany, but it was really so much. Those are 3 examples of emails you will receive. First, the rejection email. As I told you before, it's normal to receive a lot of them at first, especially when you don't have experience yet. Here is the most important sentence. We must unfortunately reject your application. Wir müssen dir hiermit leider absagen. Another form of email is the interview invitation email. Nowadays, almost all interviews take place virtually, even if you are in the same city. In the engineering field, you will receive at least 2 or 3 invitations. The first one will typically be with HR. They will talk with you about the main topics and you can ask them about your main concern, such as how long is the contract, is it fixed or an open-ended contract, what is the location, is there a home office option, and so many points. We will talk about it later. The second one will be with engineering team head or team chief. After the interviews go well, you will receive another email with congratulation message saying that you have been accepted, and after that you will receive an onboarding email that will tell you what to do, what personal items to bring, and those important information about your first day and your first week. Many times you will receive the contract by post. You will not need to go there to sign it. You will simply sign it and send it back by post. And all of that happens before your first working day. And as we said, after you receive a positive feedback, you will receive an invitation to an interview. And we will talk about this point in detail in the next chapter. Salam again everyone and welcome to chapter 1 of our course. We have gone from the job search to a successful application. Now we are ready for the most important step, das Vorstellungsgespräch, the job interview. This chapter will walk you through the entire process from the first greeting to the final handshake. I want to be clear that since I am not a language teacher, you will need some knowledge of grammar. So please take a moment to review and make sure you understand these grammar lessons that we will use in our chapter. Also, I have split the chapter into main points that we will discuss. For this chapter, we are going to organize our conversation like a real interview. I used those symbols to make it easier for you to know who is talking. Slide structure will look like that. Here, the main interview or the main conversation, das Gespräch. Und here, the most important notes. Also, in the most of slides, I used a color form to make it easier for you to know the article of each word. Now let's talk about the first step in our interview. Die Begrüßung, the greeting. It's your sentence. Guten Tag, mein Name ist Karim Abdelwahab. Ich möchte zu Herr Müller. Ich habe einen Termin. Oder ich habe ein Vorstellungsgespräch. You say hello, my name is Karim Abdelwahab. I would like to see Mr. Müller. I have an appointment or I have a job interview. Ich möchte zu Herr Müller. Ich möchte zu Frau Schmidt. I would like to see Mr. or Mrs. Using zu plus dativ means I'd like to go to a place or I'd like to see a person. You can use it on phone, you can use it when you want to go to a certain place. Ich möchte zur Personalabteilung. And here comes dativ. The article convert to der. Ich möchte zum Rathaus. I'd like to go to Rathaus. Das article convert to them, which is dativ case. Now she will response. So as a person will response. Guten Tag, Herr Abdelwahab. Herr Müller kommt gleich. Warten Sie bitte kurz hier. Oder nehmen Sie doch Platz bitte. Warten Sie. It's an imperative to ask him to wait. Hello, Mr. Abdelwahab. Mr. Müller will be right with you. Please wait here for a moment. Please have a seat. So, imperative in formal way, warten Sie. In non-formal way, warte oder wartet ihr. And you will say gerne, vielen Dank oder Dankeschön. Once the interviewer meets you, personally or virtually, they might start with a bit of a small talk to make it you feel comfortable. For example, they can say, Hallo Herr Abdelwahab, wie geht's Ihnen? Haben Sie eine gute Anreise? Haben Sie uns einfach gefunden? You can answer, ja, die Anfahrt war problemlos, danke der guten Beschreibung. Yes, the journey has no trouble thanks to the good description. Here, adjective, can we use it as a noun plus los? Problemlos, noun, which is problem, los. So means has no trouble. Arbeitslos means he has no work. Kostenlos, no cost or it's free. Here we can use dank plus dativ, thanks to. Here is the end that we put at the end of each adjective according to the article and the position. If it's accusative, if it's dative, if it's genitive, and so on. It's a very important topic to learn and to make sure that you are aware of. Let's talk about the first big question. Selbstvorstellen. Introducing yourself. The interviewer can ask you, Konnten Sie sich selbst vorstellen? Could you introduce yourself? And here there is an important note. Sich vorstellen is an important verb, reflexive verb, which has two different meanings. The first, when it comes with accusative, means to introduce. Kannst du dich selbst vorstellen? Can you introduce yourself? When it comes with dative, it means to imagine. Kannst du dir vorstellen, dass du im Ausland arbeitest? Ja, Das kann ich mir vorstellen. Can you imagine yourself working abroad? Yes, I can imagine that. So it's a very important verb, comes with two different meanings and all depend on sich. When it comes as accusative, means to introduce. When it comes as dative, means to imagine. Now your answer can be: Mein Name ist Karim Abdulwahab. Ich komme aus Ägypten, bin 30 Jahre alt und wohne derzeit in München. My name is Karim Abdulwahab. I come from Egypt. I am 30 years old and currently live in Munich. So, simple introduction, your name, where are you from, your age, where do you live nowadays. About your study, ich habe mein Studium an der Kairo Uni absolviert. I completed my studies at Cairo University. Maschinenbaudesign ist mein Hauptfach. Das Hauptfach means main major. Und habe schon 4 Jahre Erfahrung in dieser Richtung gesammelt. And I have already gained 4 years of experience in this field, which is mechanical engineering field. So, mein Name ist Karim Abdulwahab, ich komme aus Ägypten, bin 30 Jahre alt und wohne derzeit in München. Ich habe mein Studium an der Cairo Uni absolviert. Maschinenbaudesign ist mein Hauptfach und habe ich schon 4 Jahre Erfahrung in dieser Richtung gesammelt. Richtung, we can use it here as a field or direction. Also you can say, ich habe bei Firma als Ingenieur 4 x Jahren gearbeitet. It's about your experience. I have worked at, by here means working at, and by comes with dative. So, Firma, which is die Firma, change it to der Firma. As, which is use accusative, and you can say which position do you or did you work. Die Stelle, for example, ich habe bei Airbus als Maschinenbauingenieur für 3 Jahre gearbeitet. Now let's talk about another point. Gespräch, Informationen austauschen. Exchanging information. For example, you can be asked, warum haben Sie sich diese Stelle beworben? Why did you apply for this position? Die Stelle or das Jobangebot, both means job offer. Die Stelle, diese Stelle, das Jobangebot, dieses Jobangebot. And the verb sich beworben. Sich beworben Here is an important note. Sich bei einer Firma beworben, and as we said before, by takes dative, that's why here we use er. Sich bei einer Firma bewerben or sich für eine Stelle bewerben. So here you apply at a company and you apply for a certain job offer. Für, you can use für or both with the same meaning. to apply for a job. Sich bewerben or sich bewerben für comes with accusative. Sich bewerben bei comes with dative. Here with the job opportunity, here with the company. The verb bewerben, bewarb, beworben. Now let's discuss many options to show that the job offer match or fits your profile. You can say die Stelle or das Jobangebot passt zu meinem Profil und meinen Fähigkeiten. Passen zu plus dativ means match. To match my profile. Die Stelle passt zu meinem because of dativ Profil und meinen also because dativ Fähigkeiten. Die Fähigkeit means skill and plural is Fähigkeiten. Also, the same meaning can be used with verb entsprechen. And E is converted to I with du, er, sie, es. You can say die Stelle entspricht, here comes the E, because die Stelle is sie. Die Stelle entspricht meinem Profil und meinen Fähigkeiten. Also, the verb entsprechen use or comes with dative, means to match. Both, you can use them with the same meaning. Passen zu or entsprechen. Here, it's very useful as well to talk about your experience, courses, degrees, but we will talk about that later in details. You can also here show them that you did your homework by researching the company. This shows you understand their work, the field they work on, the specific projects or topic they are currently focused on. You can say, als erfahrener Ingenieur möchte ich gerne in einem Unternehmen mit internationalen Beziehungen arbeiten. Which means, as experienced engineer, I would like to work for a company with international connections. Here, engineer, der Engineer, die Ingenieurin. Also engineering means das Ingenieurwissen or die Ingenieurwissenschaft. Here there are so many important words. For example, die Erfahrung, experience, and we have seen before that it comes with verb sammeln, to gain experience. Company, das Unternehmen, die Firma, der Betrieb. Also Betrieb, Werk, Fabrik can be used as factory, something that produce a product. So we can say company, das Unternehmen, die Firma. Factory we can say der Betrieb, das Werk, die Fabrik. Beziehungen or die Beziehung comes as connection or relationship. Let's talk a little bit about Erfahrung. Erfahrung means experience, and we can use verb or adjective erfahren. They are very helpful. Erfahren as adjective means experienced. As experienced engineer. And when you use it as adjective, don't forget the end that we talk about it before that. Also verb erfahren, erfahren, ervoor, erfahren. So it comes with accusative. Etwas erfahren means to experience or learn something. Also it comes with über, erfahren über plus accusative to learn about. Haben oder hatten etwas erfahren, has or had experienced something. And as we said before, die Erfahrung with verb sammeln, to gain experience. This section is really important and you can use it a lot in interview to describe what you have done, what you have learned, and which experience do you have in which field. Still, we are focusing on the same point, showing interest in the company. We can say that in different forms, like, also you can say, die Struktur der Firma gefällt mir sehr gut. Die Struktur der Firma, this is a genitive case, gefällt mir sehr gut. The structure of the company pleases me, or I like the structure of the company. Die Struktur, structure, gefallen, gefiel, gefallen plus dative. In German, verb gefallen use dative case. You say, die Struktur der Firma gefällt mir, which means I like the structure of the company or the structure of the company pleases me. A note on the side, gefallen, when you use it as a noun, der gefallen means favor. So you can say, darf ich dich or darf ich sie einen Gefallen bitten? Can I ask you for a favor? Verb bitten, but gebitten comes with plus plus accusative. To ask. Ich bitte dich was? I ask you or I beg you for something. Darf ich dich einen Gefallen bitten? Can I ask you or can I beg you for a favor? About verb erfahren über, learn about. You can say, ich habe ein großes Interesse mehr über Luftraum erfahren. I have a great interest in learning more about airspace. Der Luftraum, airspace, das Interesse, interest. Also, you can say that you are interested in something in 3 different powerful ways. For example, you can use the verb sich interessieren für plus accusative, or you can use the adjective interessiert an plus dativ interessiert sein, or you can use the noun Interesse. Ich habe Interesse an plus dativ. For example, ich interessiere mich dafür, in einem erfahrenen Unternehmen wie Ihrem zu arbeiten. I am really interested to work in an experienced company like yours. Also, ich bin daran interessiert, in einem erfahrenen Unternehmen wie Ihrem zu arbeiten. Or, ich habe Interesse daran, in einem erfahrenen Unternehmen wie Ihrem zu arbeiten. All have the main meaning, but with different ways. Those three forms, I find it really very useful to showing that you are interested to do something. They are really helpful. Make sure that you can use at least one form of them to express your interest. So far, we have discussed so many important points and important vocab. From my point of view, I think those 4 points may be the most important ones. Das Verb sich vorstellen, sich bewerben, für, bei, erfahren, with its different forms, erfahren as adjective, erfahren as a verb, erfahren über, ich habe was erfahren und Erfahrung sammeln. Also, interessiere. Ich interessiere mich dafür, ich bin daran interessiert, ich habe Interesse daran. After you introduce yourself, the interviewer will want to know more about your education. In this video, let's talk about education, das Studium. The interviewer can ask you, an welcher Universität haben Sie studiert? And here we use verb studieren with preposition an plus dative case. An welcher dative case. Universität haben Sie studiert? And your answer can be ich habe an der Universität in Kairo studiert und ich habe 2 Semester im Ausland verbracht. Here there is a side note, let's talk about it. Verbringen, verbracht. This verb, when it comes with die Zeit, means to spend time. Ich habe gute Zeit verbracht. I have spent a good time. The opposite to this meaning is die Zeit verschwenden, to waste time. Ich versuche, meine Zeit nicht zu verschwenden. I try not to waste my time. So, Zeit verbringen or Zeit verschwenden, to spend and to waste time. It's really helpful to know those two verbs. Also, as a side note, verschwenden, which is to waste, there is another verb similar to it, only one letter different. Verschwenden, to waste, verschwinden, to disappear. Verschwinden, verschwunden, equal to ausblenden, to hide or to disappear. This verb can be used, you can say, wir brauchen diese Ansicht nicht mehr, du kannst sie einfach ausblenden. Ansicht ausblenden. Die Ansicht means view, like front view, side view and so on. Die Ansicht ausblenden. Ansicht ausblenden, hide the view. Let's discuss some important words and verbs to describe and talk about your exams, your field of study, and your main major. Verb absolvieren. to pass. This verb, you can use it for your entire degree or even your internship. You can say, ich habe das Praktikum, the internship, in Field bla 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 absolviert. Ich habe das Praktikum, the internship, in Field absolviert. I have passed or I have ended my internship in Field bla bla bla. Oder ich habe mein Studium an der Uni absolviert. I have passed my study in the university. Also, to talk more about your main major, there is a lot of words can be used to describe your main major. You can say der Fachbereich or das Fachgebiet, das Spezialgebiet, die Fachrichtung, die Fachkenntnisse, die Vertiefungsrichtung. All of those mean the same, which is your main major. Der Bereich, das Gebiet, die Richtung, die Kenntnisse. Der Bereich and das Gebiet both means area. Die Richtung means direction. Die Kenntnisse means knowledge. All of those comes with verb wählen, to choose. You can say, ich habe Maschinenbau als Fachrichtung gewählt. I chose mechanical engineering design as my main major. Now let's talk a little bit about exams. Die Prüfung. Exam. First, to take an exam, eine Prüfung schreiben. Schreiben means to write an exam. Oder eine Prüfung ablegen. Also comes with the same meaning, to take an exam. To pass an exam, also you can use absolvieren, to pass. Ich habe meine Prüfung absolviert. I have passed my exam. Also, to pass an exam, eine Prüfung bestehen. Oder ich habe meine Prüfung bestanden. To pass an exam. To fail an exam, ich habe meine Prüfung leider durchgefallen. Unfortunately, I have failed my exam. So here you can use those 4 verbs to talk about exam. Let's check some other questions. The interviewer might ask you, welche Fachrichtung des Ingenieurwissens haben Sie belegt? Here, let's talk about des Ingenieurwissens, das ist Genitiv. Fachrichtung, die Fachrichtung, your main major. And let's talk about verb belegen. When it comes with an study or a course, their course, or with das Seminar, means to attend. To attend something educational. Also, we can use verb besuchen. So, those 2 verbs, besuchen and belegen, come with educational events, means to attend those events. The same meaning can be, welche Vertiefungsrichtung haben Sie gewählt? Which main major did you choose? You can answer this question. Ich habe Maschinenbaudesign und Produktion als Fachrichtung gewählt. Hier word Fach, das Fach means subject if it comes alone. Fachrichtung zusammen means the main direction or the main major. Another answer can be Maschinenbaudesign ist mein Schwerpunkt or Maschinenbaudesign ist mein Hauptfach. Das Hauptfach, der Schwerpunkt, both means main focus. You can add those two words with the other words. All means main major or main focus. Ich habe mich mit Design beschäftigt. Verb sich beschäftigen mit plus Dativ means to focus on. You can also mention that you did further education. Ich habe auch an einer Fortbildung in Fertigungstechnik teilgenommen und eine Prüfung bestanden. An teilnehmen or teilnehmen an plus Dativ means to join. I have joined or I have practiced in further training in manufacturing engineering and passed an exam. So, Fortbildung, die Fortbildung or die Weiterbildung means further education. Die Fertigungstechnik, die Fertigung alone means manufacture. Fertigungstechnik comes as manufacturing engineering. Word Ausbildung alone can come as education as well, like das Studium. But it has a separate meaning in Germany. We will talk about it later. And here, verb bestehen, bestanden, we have talked about it before, which comes with Prüfung, to pass an exam. Or you can use absolvieren as well. You will see that I have included a lot of words and sentences that have a similar meaning. I do this to help you build a bigger vocab. You will not use all of them at once, but knowing many options will give you more flexibility. Now, let's talk about another point, which is das Praktikum, internship. The interviewer can say, ich würde gerne etwas über Ihre Praktika erfahren. And here we have used something called Konjunktive 2. Konjunktive 2 is verb worden plus infinitive. And one of its uses is to ask politely. Another important verb we talked about, erfahren über, to know about something. Das Praktikum, Praktika, die Praktika. Ich würde gerne etwas über Ihre Praktika erfahren. And here you can answer him während. Preposition comes always with genitive, means during. During my studies, während meines Studiums, this is genitive form, habe ich 2 Praktika in Automobilindustrie absolviert. And here comes verb absolvieren again. We talked about it before. We can use it with exams, university studies, and here with practicum. Während meines Studiums habe ich 2 Praktika in Automobilindustrie absolviert. Jedes, so it means jedes Praktikum. Jedes hat 4 Wochen gedauert. Each Praktikum took 4 weeks. Verb dauer means to take time. Beide Praktika haben in Deutschland stattgefunden. Here, as you can see, when you want to talk about das Praktikum, you use jedes. When you want to talk about die Praktika, you use beide. Beide Praktika haben in Deutschland stattgefunden. Verb stattfinden means to take place. Stattfinden, stattgefunden. Das Praktika findet in Deutschland statt. Now let's talk about preposition durch plus Akkusativ. It's equal to während plus Genitiv. You can say durch das Praktikum, during the internship habe ich Wissen über. It's like erfahren über, but Wissen here as a noun. Habe ich Wissen über Anwendung von SolidWorks, CATIA, V5, SAP, Software erworben. Die Anwendung means use as a noun. The verb is anwenden, to use. And here you can see a very useful phrase, Wissen über erwerben, to gain knowledge about. Wissen über erwerben, to gain knowledge about. Also, we learned something before with the same meaning, to gain experience. Do you remember? To gain experience. So now we can say we have enough vocab, we can use it. Wissen über erwerben, to gain knowledge about. Erfahren über, to know about. Erfahrung sammeln. Another way of answer, you can say, ich habe am Formula Student Wettbewerb teilgenommen. Or, ich habe beim Formula Student Wettbewerb mitgemacht. Wettbewerb, der Wettbewerb, Competition. Teilnehmen an plus Dativ or mitmachen bei plus Dativ means to join or to participate. Ich habe am Formula Student Wettbewerb. Am is an plus den. Beim is bei plus dem. So, participate in, teilnehmen an plus Dativ or mitmachen bei plus Dativ. A lot of infos. So to make a quick recap, those are important points from my point of view. The difference between verschwinden and verschwinden. Teilnehmen an plus Dativ, mitmachen bei plus Dativ. To join
studieren an plus studiv, to study at, and the use of verb absolvieren, to pass, with practicum, with studium, with exams, Spezialgebiet, and the all other words that you can use. The verbs with die Prüfung, to take an exam, pass it or fail it, to participate in, Wissen über Verben, to gain knowledge about, Erfahrung sammeln, to gain experience. And the preposition that we took till now, während plus Genitiv, during, durch plus Akkusativ, dank plus Dativ, thanks to. Now we come to the most important part of the interview, your professional experience. Die Berufserfahrung. Now the interviewer can ask you, können Sie ein wenig über Ihren beruflichen Werdegang erzählen? Or können Sie ein wenig über Ihre beruflichen Erfahrungen erzählen? So, the verb erzählen über, to tell us about or to tell about. Erzählen über. Here we can see the word der Werdegang, career. Another word a little bit similar, der Vorgang, process. Der Vorgang, process, der Werdegang, career. Ein wenig über, a little bit about. And here adjective beruflich, which is professional. Your professional career or your professional experiences. Die Erfahrungen. Or wir möchten gerne mehr über Ihre Berufserfahrung wissen. Wissen über, to know about. Another option can be, in welcher Funktion sind Sie derzeit tätig? In welcher Funktion sind Sie derzeit tätig? Als bla 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 tätig sein means to be responsible of something. Die Funktion here means role. Or something straight forward, was ist Ihr Spezialgebiet? Das Spezialgebiet. Your main role or your main focus or your main professional field. So you can use two phrases to say responsible for. Als tätig sein or für zuständig sein. Ich bin für bla 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 zuständig or ich bin als bla 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 tätig. Now, let's talk about some verbs to describe our qualifications. For example, you can answer sure, which could be freilich or selbstverständlich. Meine beruflichen Qualifikationen habe ich in Ägypten erworben or habe ich in Ägypten vertieft. So, do you remember verb erwerben? Erworben, to gain. Wissen über, erwerben, to gain knowledge about something. Also verb vertiefen, to deepen your experience or your qualification. Since we talk about earning or gaining experience, verb einbringen comes with meaning earn but with money. Geld einbringen, to earn money. Of course, freilich or selbstverständlich. Verb erwerben is an important verb and we use it here a lot. Vertiefen, einbringen. We can use those three important verbs to say we gain knowledge, qualifications, knowledge about. You can say die Fachkenntnisse erwerben, die Spezialkenntnisse vertiefen, die Grundkenntnisse einbringen. All of that to gain the main knowledge or the special knowledge. The same here, die Fähigkeiten erwerben, your skills, to gain skills. Das Wissen über erwerben or vertiefen or einbringen. To earn or to deepen or to gain more knowledge about something. You can add to this point Erfahrung sammeln, to collect experience. Now let's talk a little bit about your soft skills. You can say, ich denke, dass ich zuverlässig means you can count on me. You can depend on me. Ich bin schon zuverlässig. Kreativ und verantwortungsbewusst. Verantwortungsbewusst means Verantwortung tragen. I am responsible. I can carry the responsibility. Verb tragen comes with noun Verantwortung, which is responsibility. Or you can use the adjective to describe the same meaning, verantwortungsbewusst. Und lieber im Team arbeite. Ich arbeite lieber im Team. I like to work more in a team. We still in talking about your experience. You can say or you can use für plus Akkusativ zuständig sein. Ich bin für plus Akkusativ zuständig. I am responsible for. So, ich war für die Qualitätsplanung zuständig. I was responsible for quality planning. Qualitätsplanung. Ich habe auch schon in Produktionsstätten für Stahlbearbeitung gearbeitet. Die Städte different than Stadt. Stadt is a city. Städte site. I have worked for production sites. Für Stahlbearbeitung. Der Stahl, Steel. Bearbeitung or verb bearbeiten means to edit or to process. You can use verb bearbeiten to edit something or to process something. Bearbeitung, process, or editing. Another option can be: Ich habe im Konstruktionsbüro für 2 Jahre gearbeitet. Das Büro means office. Konstruktionsbüro means CAD designing office. Another answer to describe your experience, you can say: Ich habe schon in den Bereichen. Der Bereich Field. In den Bereichen Entwicklung, Development, Herstellung, Manufacturing, Konstruktion, Construction or Designing und Produktion, Production, im Tunnelbau gearbeitet. Der Tunnelbau, Tunnel Construction. Die Herstellung, Manufacturing. Die Herstellung, Manufacturing. The verb of this word is herstellen, to produce or to manufacture. You can say ein Produkt herstellen, to produce a product. Herstellen is a very important verb for engineers, which means to manufacture or to produce something physical, but also you can use it for describe different meanings. For example, Kontakt herstellen mit, to establish a connection with someone. Kontakt herstellen mit, to connect with someone or to establish a connection with someone. Ein Augenkontakt herstellen, to create eye contact. Ein Augenkontakt herstellen. Example: Wer stellt den Kontakt mit dem Kunde her? Der Kunde. Customer or client. Verb herstellen is similar to verb erstellen. Herstellen, to produce. Erstellen, to create a plan, to create a report, a logo, a document. Ein Dokument, einen Plan, einen Bericht, ein Logo erstellen. Der Plan, der Bericht. I think now you know the color code already. Das Dokument, das Logo. But take care, der Bereich, which is here, Field, der Bericht, which is here, document or report. I hope the note I included about the differences between similar words are helpful. I found this method very useful myself because it creates a strong connection between words. When you know a new word and the similar word of it, it makes both of them harder to forget. Let's talk about leadership position if you were a leader. First, some important words about leadership position. Verb leiten, leitet, to lead a team. Der Leiter, leader or ladder. Both are der Leiter, leader or ladder. Der Teamleiter, team leader, and adjective leitend, leading. Ich habe auch in leitender Funktion für 3 Monate gearbeitet. I worked in a leading role for 3 months. Ich war den Teamleiter des Designteams in der Firma für 6 Monate. I was the team leader of the design team in the company for 6 months. Des design teams, this is genitive case. Die Funktion, we have talked before, rule. Produktentwicklung, Product Development und Produktion sind meine Fachgebiete. Das Fachgebiet, die Fachgebiete. Ich denke, dass ich den Aufgabe gewachsen bin. Die Entwicklung, Design or Development. Das Product, die Produktion, die Aufgabe, Task. Homework, by the way, is Hausaufgabe. Leiter with T, Leider with D means unfortunately. The phrase einer Aufgabe gewachsen sein means I am up to the task or I can do it well. Ich denke, dass ich, den Dativ, den Aufgabe gewachsen bin. Then here is Dativ. Einer here is Dativ. Ich bin den Aufgaben gewachsen. I am up to the task. Don't worry, I can do it. Don't worry, I can handle the task. Something like that. Ich bin den Aufgabe gewachsen. We can say, als Verkaufsingenieur, as a sales engineer, habe ich mit vielen Kunden Vertrauen aufgebaut. I have built trust with many customers. Und ihre Wünsche zufriedengestellt. To please their wishes or to make their wishes. Der Verkaufsingenieur, das Vertrauen aufbauen, to build a trust. Jemanden zufriedenstellen, zufriedenstelle, ich stelle dich zufrieden. Or ich stelle deine Wünsche zufrieden. I please your wishes. Or I try to do my best for your wishes. And it comes with accusative. Mit jemandem im Vertrauen sprechen, to talk in confident. Ich spreche mit dir im Vertrauen. Here means I talk with you in confidence. Vertrauen auf jemanden or Vertrauen plus Dativ, to trust. Ich vertraue auf dich or ich vertraue dir. Both means I trust you. So let's talk a little bit about your strengths. Still, we are in describing your experience. So you can say, meine Stärken, die Stärke, Strengths. Meine Stärken liegen auf dem Gebiet der Produktion. Der here is a genitive form. My strengths lie in the area of production. Meine Stärke liegen auf plus Dativ to be in or to lie in. Auf dem Gebiet Area der Produktion. Or meine Stärken liegen auf der Produktion. You can say it like that as well. Verb liegen. As a side note, we can use this verb in different scenarios. We can say, das Projekt liegt auf Eis. This project is on hold. Liegt auf Eis means on hold. Das Projekt, die Aufgabe, liegt auf Eis. The task is on hold. Also, verb liegen, you can hear it a lot beim Arzt. He can say, auf dem Bauch liegen, auf dem Rücken liegen, auf der Seite liegen. Bauch, stomach, Rücken, back, Seite, side. Another important phrase is to consider as. Wurde als Bezeichen. To consider as. Ich würde den Bereich Produktion als meine besonderen Stärken bezeichnen. Ich würde den Bereich, it comes here as accusative case, der Bereich, den Bereich. I would consider production as my strengths. So, what if the interviewer want to ask about a very specific skill you might not have? He might ask, für unser Projekt benötigen wir jemanden, der sich mit der Montage von Maschinenanlagen auskennt. Verb sich auskennen mit plus Dativ. To be familiar with. It's a very important verb. Für unser Projekt benötigen wir jemanden, someone, der, who, Wissen über die Montage, because it needs accusative, not Dativ, erworben hat, who gained knowledge about the assembly. So let's break it down to small points. Sich auskennen mit plus Dativ, to be familiar with, sich mit der Montage auskennt. Also verb benötigen, to need. Jemanden etwas benötigen. To need someone or to need something. Die Metallbearbeitung, metalworking. We talked about verb bearbeiten and noun Bearbeitung. Means to process or to edit. Processing and editing something. Die Montage means assembly. Die Anlage, facility or plant. Wie sieht deine Kenntnisse in den Bereichen aus? What do your skills in these areas look like? Aussehen means to look like. Du siehst sehr schon heute aus. Today you look very beautiful. Aussehen, to look like. Let's assume that you have no knowledge about this topic. You can say, ich kenne mich nicht so gut aus. Ich kenne mich nicht so gut aus. Würde aber gerne meine Kenntnisse auf dem Gebiet vertiefen. Kenntnisse vertiefen. We have talked about this point before. Kenntnisse vertiefen, Kenntnisse erwerben or Kenntnisse einbringen. I am not so familiar with it, but I would like to deepen my knowledge in this area. Wurde plus infinitive, this one is a conjunctive 2. Or if you have a knowledge in a certain area, you can say, ich habe besondere Kenntnisse in, or ich verfüge über Kenntnisse in. Verfügen über means haben or to have. And if you want to describe more that you already have experience in this area, you can say, ich war für plus Akkusativ zuständig. I was responsible for, and you can mention the task or the role, or durch meine 2-jährige, 3-jährige, 4-jährige Beschäftigung in einer Firma hatte ich die Chance, meine Kenntnisse in zu erwerben, zu vertiefen, einzubringen, which means during my 2 years of employment in a company, I had the chance to deepen my knowledge in field bla bla bla. Die Beschäftigung, Employment, 2, 3, 4-jährige, das ist Adjektiv, hatte ich die Chance, bla 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 zu machen. You use it zu plus Infinitiv. Meine Kenntnisse in zu erwerben. To gehen, to deepen, meine Kenntnisse or my knowledge. Ich habe keine große Erfahrung oder ich habe keine große Grundkenntnisse in diesem Bereich gesammelt. If you don't have experience, you can say, ich habe keine große Erfahrung in diesem Bereich gesammelt. Erfahrung, sammeln. To gain or to collect experience. Also, you can describe or mention that you have a plan to improve yourself. Aber habe ich vor means to plan. Ich habe vor. I plan comes for verb vorhaben. Aber habe ich vor, mich weiterzubilden. To educate myself. Or to learn more about this topic. Sich weiterbilden. To continue study. And if you remember, we took the noun of this verb, Weiterbildung. Here we still with sich auskennen mit Dativ, to be familiar with. Ich kenne mich gut mit der Konstruktion und Herstellung der Produkte nach den Regelwerken or nach den Normen aus. I am familiar with design and manufacturing of products. There is Genitive 4. Production of products nach den Normen, according to den Standards. Das Regelwerk or die Norm means standards. He can ask, haben Sie an Projekte im Bereich bla 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 gearbeitet? Arbeiten an, to work on. We talk as well studieren an, to study at. Arbeiten an plus Dativ, to work on projects. Arbeiten bei, to work at a company. Arbeiten als, to work as. Woran arbeiten Sie gerade? On which projects do you work now? You can say nicht direkt. For example, he asks you, haben Sie an Projekten im Bereich Herstellung gearbeitet? Have you worked on projects in manufacturing Bereich or in manufacturing areas? You can say nicht direkt, not direct, aber habe ich mit bla 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 beschäftigt. Not really, but I have focused on, and you can mention another project which is similar. Now, to do a quick recap, here are some important points I'd like you to focus on. Erwerben, vertiefen, einbringen, to talk about your knowledge, experience, and skills. Bearbeitung, process or editing. Process is Bearbeitung or der Vorgang. The difference between Vorgang, process, and Werdegang, career. The difference between der Bereich und der Bericht, area and report. The difference between herstellen and erstellen. Herstellen, to produce something physically. Erstellen, to create something digitally, for example, to create a report or something like that. Responsible for, als tätig sein, für zuständig sein. Phrase, eine Aufgabe gewachsen sein. Ich bin diesen Aufgabe gewachsen. I am up to this task. Der Phrase, das Projekt liegt auf Eis. The project is on hold. Beim Arzt, liegen auf plus Dativ. And the important one today, sich auskennen mit plus Dativ. To be familiar with, sich auskennen mit plus Dativ. So far, I hope all is good for you. I hope that I am providing a useful and helpful information for you. Hello everyone. Now let's talk about our final part of chapter 1. Sprachen. Die Sprache. Die Sprachen. Language. For a job in Germany, your language skill is very important. The interviewer will ask you about your language. For example, he can say, erzählen Sie uns auch, wie gut Sie die deutsche Sprache beherrschen. Please also tell us, erzählen plus Dativ, to tell. How well do you master the German language? Sprache beherrschen means to master a language, to be very good in a certain language. Erzählen plus Dativ to tell. Ich gebe dir Bescheid means ich erzähle dir. I tell you something. Ich gebe dir, ich gebe Ihnen Bescheid. I will tell you. Your answer can be ich habe mir angeeignet. Verb sich aneigen. Verb sich aneignen. To learn. Sich aneignen. Ich habe mir Deutsch in Deutschland für 2 Jahre bis B2 C1 Niveau angeeignet. I learned German in Germany for 2 years, up to the level C1. C1 Zertifikat habe ich auch von Goethe Telk Institute erworben. And here comes verb erwerben again. Certificate erwerben. To gain a certificate. Das Institute, die Niveau, Level. Das Zertifikat erwerben or das Zertifikat erhalten. To gain a certificate, or you can mention that you did your studies in German or in a German university. Ich habe schon mein Studium auf Deutsch gemacht und für 1 Jahr habe ich schon in einer deutschen Firma gearbeitet. Preposition auf comes with languages. Auf Deutsch, auf Englisch, auf Arabisch means in a certain language. Zusätzlich dazu spreche ich Englisch und Arabisch. In addition to that, I speak English and Arabic as well. Zusätzlich zu plus Dativ. In addition to or zusätzliche dazu. Now, let's talk about your previous experience or why you left your last job. Bisherige Erfahrung. Bisherige previous. The interviewer can ask you, was hat Ihnen an Ihrem bisherigen Arbeitsplatz nicht gut gefallen? Bisherige or vorherige means previous. Your previous Arbeitsplatz. Ihrem bisherigen Arbeitsplatz. Der Platz. Platz means square, like Times Square and so on, Times Platz. Or space. Workspace, Arbeitsplatz. You can answer, es gab keine, there was no. In present we say es gibt. In the past we say es gab. Es gab keine Möglichkeit or Gelegenheit für mich. There was no opportunity for me, mehr Verantwortung zu übernehmen oder zu tragen. Verantwortung zu tragen, Verantwortung zu übernehmen. Die Möglichkeit, die Möglichkeiten Die Gelegenheit, die Gelegenheiten means opportunity. Or another answer, nach 2 Jahren gab es keine Aufstiegsmöglichkeiten für mich. Aufstieg, to go up. Aufstiegsmöglichkeiten, promotion. There was no promotion for me. Also, you can say, das Arbeitsklima war unangenehm. Unangenehm, uncomfortable. Das Arbeitsklima, working atmosphere. The working atmosphere was uncomfortable. Now, let's move about flexibility. Die Flexibilität. The interviewer can ask you, wie flexibel sind Sie? How flexible you are. Flexibel, flexible. Your answer can be, ich bin ganz flexibel. Neue Orte, Menschen, Aufgaben, Projekte oder Kunden sind kein Problem für mich. New locations are not problem for me. New people, neue Menschen, neue Aufgaben, new tasks, neue Projekte, new projects, neue Kunden, new clients sind kein Problem für mich. Der Kunde, Client, der Ort, Location. Wären Sie bereit, sich innerhalb eines Jahres Kenntnisse in Chinesisch anzueignen? Do you remember sich aneignen plus Dativ? Do you remember the meaning of this verb? To learn about innerhalb and außerhalb. Both comes with genitive, and you can use both to describe Zeitraum, time, or location. So innerhalb eines Jahres, during a year, oder innerhalb der Stadt, inside the city, außerhalb der Stadt, outside the city. Your answer can be, ich bin bereit, ready. Einen Fortbildungslehrgang zu machen oder einen Kurs zu besuchen. Lehrgang means training course. Normally, at the end of the interview, they might ask you about your working hours, or if they forget, sometimes I ask them. They can ask, bevorzugen Sie bestimmte Arbeitszeiten? Bevorzugen, to prefer, if you prefer a working time. Die Arbeitszeiten, working hours. Bevorzugen Sie bestimmte Arbeitszeiten? Do you prefer certain working hours? You can say nein, ich habe keine festen Vorstellungen. Vorstellung, imagination. Fest means solid. No, I don't have a solid imagination. Or you can say, als Vater or Mutter eines Babys, das ist ein Genitiv, bevorzuge ich flexibel Arbeitszeiten und die Möglichkeit, Homeoffice zu machen. Now let's talk about Relocation. Konnten Sie sich vorstellen? And here, sich vorstellen means imagine, not to introduce. Im Ausland tätig zu sein. Im Ausland tätig zu sein. Or zu arbeiten. You can say nein, wegen personalischer Gründe kann ich leider nicht. Unfortunately, I can't. Der Grund, reason. Or, ja, das ist okay für mich. We are still in the final section of the interview. Sich verabschieden. Das verabschieden is the noun from verb sich verabschieden. To say goodbye. At the end, the interviewer can ask you if you have any question. Haben Sie Fragen an uns? Do you have questions for us? Momentan hätten wir keine weiteren Fragen. Möchten Sie noch etwas wissen oder etwas fragen? Nein, alles klar. Im Moment nicht. Vielen Dank, Herr Müller. Or you may have some questions. You can ask, ja, bekomme ich unbefristet Vertrag? Do I get an open contract? In Germany, mainly there are two types of contracts. Der Vertrag, befristet, temporary, for 1 to 3 years, or unbefristet, something open. And of course, unbefristet is safer. Ist der Vertrag befristet? Wie lange dauert die Probezeit? You can get an unbefristed Vertrag with 6 months Probezeit, probation period. During this Probezeit, they can end your contract. So, asking about Probezeit is always useful for you. About relocation, many companies help in relocation. Helfen Sie mir beim Umzug? Der Umzug. And verb helfen comes with preposition by plus Dativ. Wann bekomme ich eine Rückmeldung von Ihnen? Rückmeldung, Feedback. When do I get a feedback from you? And if you are for Ort means on site, you can ask, konnte ich einen Blick in die Abteilung werfen? Can I take a look into the department? Die Abteilung, department. The interviewer can say, wir werden uns in den nächsten Tagen mit Ihnen in Verbindung setzen. Sich in Verbindung setzen, to communicate. Or he can use verb erzählen or Bescheid geben, to tell. We will tell you or we will give you an answer. Sich in Verbindung setzen, to communicate with you. And as you can see, you can use preposition mit plus Dativ. Vielen Dank, auf Wiedersehen. And here ends the interview. I hope you all the best in your interviews. A quick recap about the last point. Erzählen plus Dativ, Bescheid geben plus Dativ, to tell. Sprache beherrschen, to master a language. Verantwortungsbewusst, carry a responsibility or responsible. Certifikat erwerben or erhalten. To get a certificate. Verantwortung übernehmen or Verantwortung tragen. Innerhalb and außerhalb. Zusätzlich zu, zusätzlich dazu. Additionally. Sich in Verbindung setzen. Bisherig and vorherig. Sich aneignen. After that, I did a table about the most important words and expression in chapter 1. Congratulations! You have successfully finished your first chapter. Now let's talk about the next step after being accepted. Die erste Woche. Your first week in the company. Make a great first impression, understand the company culture, and integrate quickly into your new team. In this chapter, we will focus on 6 main points. Die Headlines. Die Begrüßung. How to greet your new colleagues professionally. Firma beschreiben oder Firma einführen. Describing or introducing the company. Understanding how your colleagues will introduce the company and how you can talk or ask about it. Thus, onboarding. We will talk about the onboarding process as well. Der Ansprechpartner. The contact person. How to identify and ask for the right person for help. And to ensure your understanding, Verständnis sichern. And am Ende die Wortschatz. To handle these conversations, there are some important grammar points. We talked about it before. Imperativ, Akkusativ, Dativ, Genitiv, Passiv und Adjektiv Deklination. As with the first chapter, we will try to keep it clear, organized, to maximize your learning efficiency. The slides are organized as dialogue form. Here, das Gespräch, the conversation, and here you can find the important notes, wichtige Notizen. Most of the words or verbs are color coded. Here is a symbol for the chef or your colleague. Here is a symbol for your answer and a note symbol. The very first moment of your new job is die Begrüßung, the greeting. When you arrive, your manager or colleague will receive and greet you using a formal and professional sentence like this. Im Namen unserer Firma begrüße ich Sie, Herr. On behalf of our company, I welcome you, Mr. Notice the structure here. Im Namen plus Genitiv. On behalf of. This is a very professional formal way to represent an entity, like a company. Verb begrüßen, to welcome or to greet. And normally we use the noun of this verb at the end of the emails. Liebe Grüße. Then your signature or your name. We will come to this later. Your response can be Danke sehr für den netten Empfang, Herr Müller. Thank you very much for the nice welcome, Mr. Müller. Der Empfang, reception or welcome. Notice here, für always comes with accusative case. Der Empfang, den netten Empfang. And the en here because of the accusative case. This is adjective declination. Let's go to a useful side note. The word Empfang can also be used in different and important situations, like sending a post. Here, Empfänger, the receiver. And you should write the receiver infos in this place. Lower right corner, there, Absender, the sender. And here you write the infos of the sender. Upper left corner of the envelope, die Adresse, die Straße, der Nummer, die Stadt und PLZ oder Postleitzahl. Der Brief, the letter. After the first handshake and formal welcome, the conversation quickly moves to how to start your first working day, such as how to receive your equipment. Your colleague or manager will inform you about the resources that you will need to start your first day, like hardware or software. Your chef or your manager can say, Sie erhalten Ihren Laptop von Ihrem Ansprechpartner. You will receive your laptop from your contact person. Verb erhalten equal to bekommen, which means to get or to receive. Der Ansprechpartner, contact person. And the words here are color coded. Also, there are some words or hardware that you may receive depend on your job requirements. For example, Sie erhalten Ihre Ausstattung. Ausstattung is a general word, means equipment. Die Ausstattung. Sie erhalten Ihren Schlüssel. You will receive your key. Ihre Firmenmobilfunkgerät or Ihr Handy. Ihr Firmenmobilfunkgerät. Das Gerät means device. Firmen, company. Mobilfunk is relevant to radio device. Firmen, mobile Funkgerät or Funkgerät means radio. Or he can say, wir stellen einen Laptop für Homeoffice or für die Arbeit unterwegs zur Verfügung. We make a laptop available for home office or work on the go. Unterwegs, on the go. On a note, you can say, ich bin unterwegs. I am already on my way. Ich bin unterwegs. I am already on my way. I left already my house and I am on my way to my destination. Ich bin unterwegs. Etwa zur Verfügung stellen, to make something available. Ich stelle einen Laptop zur Verfügung. I will make a laptop available. Für dich, for you, für Home Office, für die Arbeit, for the work, and etc. Let's go to the second headline. Firma beschreiben. Die Firma. Firma beschreiben. Verb beschreiben ist to describe. Firma einführen. To introduce. Do you remember a verb that we have talked before also means to introduce? Sich vorstellen. To introduce when sich comes in accusative form or accusative case, and when sich come in dative case means to imagine. Sich vorstellen. Verb einführen, also to introduce. The noun from this verb is die Einführung, introduction, like das Vorstellen, introduction. Or one word like that, Werksführung, factory tour. Most huge companies are offering a factory tour where you will be introduced to the whole physical layout of the company or of the factory. So it depends on the company size. From my point of view, the key verb here is sich befinden in plus dativ because of preposition in, to be located in. Your manager or your colleague can describe or show you die Küche, the kitchen, befindet sich im Erdgeschoss. The kitchen is located in the ground floor. Das Erdgeschoss, ground floor. Also, die Ebene or die Etage, der Stock, all of those means floor. Das Erdgeschoss or das Geschoss, floor, das Erdgeschoss, ground floor, die Ebene, die Etage, der Stock. And by the way, I didn't hear like Erdebene oder Erdetage. Normalerweise they use das Erdgeschoss to describe the ground floor. Die Kantine befindet sich im A4-Gebäude. Das Gebäude, building. Also, they can describe the meeting place or the meeting room. Unsere wochentlich Besprechung findet in Raum 120 in der ersten Etage statt. Wochentlich here is adjective, weekly. Our weekly meeting takes place in room 120 on the first floor. Besprechung means meeting, die Besprechung. And verb stattfinden means to take place. It's a trennbar verb. Unsere wochentliche Besprechung findet in Raum 120 in der ersten Etage statt. In der because of dative, ersten because of dative. Der Raum, das Zimmer, Both means a room. Or to show you the location of the room, he can say I'm in this corridors, their corridor, and in genitive case they're converted to des plus s. Am Ende des Nouns. Am Ende des Korridors befindet sich der Kubiraum. Befindet sich der Kubiraum. The Kubi room is located at the end of the corridor. We are still in the tour. Your colleague will show you where to put your personal items. He can say im Eingangsbereich. Der Bereich. If you remember, we have talked this noun before. Der Bereich. Eingang means entrance. In the entrance area konnten Sie Ihren Mantel aufhängen. In the entrance area you could hang your coat. Der Mantel. A coat. Da gibt es Schränke. There are lockers or storage compartments. Da gibt es Schränke. Schränke is the plural from Schrank, das Schrank, closet or locker. The word das Schließfach means locker. Da gibt es Schränke, Schließfächer für personalische Dinge. For your personal stuff. Das Ding, thing. Die Dinge, things. Verb aufhängen. Can be used in different cases. To hang up clothes or laundry. Kleidung aufhängen. Wäsche aufhängen. Or to hang up a picture on the wall. Bild aufhängen. Or when it comes with people means to hang it. Like this penalty. To kill someone. Mensch aufhängen means toten. Mensch toten, to kill someone or to hang someone. In most cases, you will receive an email about your software or hardware that you will need and how you get it. In wenigen Minuten erhalten Sie eine E-Mail über den Zugriff auf alle unsere Tools, auf alle unsere Softwares. Die E-Mail über plus Akkusativ, so der Zugriff will be den Zugriff. Der Zugriff auf plus Akkusativ, access to. In a few minutes, you will receive an email about the access to all our tools or to all our softwares. Den Zugriff auf alle unsere Tools or unsere softwares. Now let's talk about describing different departments or different processes. Like im Z1-Gebäude gibt es die Spezialeinrichtungs zum Zusammenbau. Das Gebäude, building, gibt es, which means there is, die Spezialeinrichtungen. Die Einrichtung, the word die Einrichtung means facility or equipment. like word Ausstattung. In the Z1 building, there are the special facilities for assembly. Der Zusammenbau or die Montage means assembly. Montage, Zusammenbau, assembly. Im Z1 Gebäude wird die Montage or Endmontage, Final Assembly, durchgeführt. In the building Z1, the assembly or the final assembly took place. Im Z1 Gebäude befinden sich die große Montagehalle. Die Halle means hall. Das Gebäude building, die Halle hall. The large assembly hall is located in the Z1 building. And if you want to ask about a certain process or department, you can say, gibt es in der Firma in plus Dativ, gibt es in der Firma eine Einrichtung, facility or equipment. Für composite material, is there a facility in the company for composite material? Das Material. The material. Now let's talk about some important verbs and nouns, and similar words that are very important as well. The word Einrichtung. Einrichtung, facility or equipment. Also, Ausstattung, equipment. The word Einrichtung, if you change it ein with for, it will be Vorrichtung. Die Vorrichtung means jig and tools, and it's a very big department in aerospace industry. There is a dedicated department called jigs and tools in Airbus, Freedom Aerotech, and many companies. And the German word for that is Vorrichtungsbau or Vorrichtungsabteilung. Die Vorrichtung, jig and tools. Important verbs here are durchführen, to perform. Ich führe was durch. I perform something. Montage, durchführen. To perform an assembly. Verb überwachen, to monitor. Here are phrases using durchführen and überwachen. Montage, durchführen, to perform assembly. Analyse, Simulation, Test durchführen oder Test überwachen. Umfrage, durchführen. Umfrage is a survey. Die Umfrage, a survey. Die Analyse, analysis, like stress analysis for example. Die Simulation, simulation. Der Test. A nice and important sentence. Änderungen an plus Dativ durchführen. To apply changes on something. For example, wir führen Änderungen an dem Plan durch. We apply changes to the plan. Ich führe Änderung an den Plan durch. I apply a change to the plan. Another important words or verbs can be come after Analyse oder Test durchführen. After applying or monitoring a test could be to check Results. Das Ergebnis, die Ergebnisse, result and results. Prüfen or überprüfen, to check. Das Ergebnisse prüfen, to check results. Analyse, Ergebnisse, analysis results. Simulations, Ergebnisse. Here there is S between the two words. Test Ergebnisse, test results, prüfen. To check the results of the test or of the simulation or of the analysis. We are still in the company introduction tour. Some big companies have a lab to do mechanical or chemical tests. Your tour guide or your colleague can tell you more examples like that. When describing the quality or the standards of a lab, you might hear die Laboreinrichtungen, das Labor, the lab, die Laboreinrichtungen, the lab facilities sind immer auf dem modernsten, neuesten Stand. The lab facilities are always up to the most modern standard or up to the most new standard. Or in unserer Firma entsprechen die technischen Einrichtungen den Anforderungen oder den Richtlinien von ASME voll und ganz. In our company, in unserer Firma, the technical facilities, die Einrichtungen, facilities or equipment, die technischen, the technical, in unserer Firma entsprechen, which means to match. So in unserer Firma, in our company, match the technical equipment with the requirement von ASME or with the guidelines von ASME. Voll und ganz, sehr gut. In our company, the technical facilities completely match the requirement or the guidelines of ASME. Die Richtlinie, Guideline, die Anforderung, Requirement. Voll und ganz, sehr gut, completely. Here the verb entsprechen or passend zu. We talked about it before. To match comes with dative. Therefore, die Anforderungen comes here as then because of the dative case. Now let's talk about outsourcing. Das Outsourcing. In many German companies, essential services like cleaning and disposal are outsourced. Die Entsorgung, die Gebäudereinigung übernimmt eine Spezialfirma oder übernimmt eine Vermittlungsfirma. The disposal or the building cleaning is taken over by a third-party company. Die Reinigung, cleaning, die Entsorgung, disposal, die Vermittlung, mediation. Vermitteln, to mediate. The verb übernehmen is to take over a task or take over a responsibility. To take over a task or a responsibility. Aufgabe übernehmen, Pflicht übernehmen. And the opposite of this word is abgeben. Ich gebe was ab. I submit something. Oder jemand gibt was ab, gibt die Aufgabe ab. Submit the task. For example, ich würde die Planungsaufgabe übernehmen. I will take over the planning task. Or, wir müssen den Bericht bis Freitag abgeben. We have to submit the report by Friday. So verb übernehmen and abgeben are really powerful verbs for take over and submit a task. Now, let's talk about onboarding. Das Onboarding. In wenigen Minuten erhalten Sie eine E-Mail über den Zugriff auf alle unsere Tools. In a few minutes, you will receive an email about the access to all our tools. In wenigen Minuten. In a few minutes. Verb erhalten or bekommen to receive. Eine E-Mail über den Zugriff. Der Zugriff auf plus Akkusativ. An access to something. Dann erstellen Sie für jedes Tool ein Kennwort oder ein Passwort. Das Passwort erstellen oder das Kennwort erstellen to create a password. Verb erstellen to create. To create a password. Design erstellen to create a design. To create a logo and so on. Das Tool laden alle Softwares herunter, die in E-Mail stehen. Herunterladen. The opposite is hochladen, to download and to upload. Laden, to load. Webseite laden, to load a website. Normally in big companies you cannot download softwares from internet, but IT team do that for you. So normally you open your laptop and the laptop will do this process automatically. About office equipment. Büroeinrichtung. Sometimes if you need a special office equipment, such as standing desk, der Steh-Schreibtisch, or a left-hand mouse, for example, you can talk with your team lead or your HR contact person. Wenn Sie Büromobil wollen, müssen Sie mit Ihrem Vorgesetzter reden oder sprechen. Der Vorgesetzter. Superior or Boss. Also der Teamleiter. Also der Ansprechpartner. Die Waren, die Materialien, die Bestellung werden direkt in unsere Abteilung geliefert. The goods or the materials or the order are delivered directly to our department. Verb liefer, to deliver. Die Waren, goods. Das Material und die Materialien, material. Die Bestellung, order. In this slide, let's focus on asking who is responsible for a task or who should you contact when you have a problem or when you want a certain document. Der Ansprechpartner. Contact person. You can ask, wer ist für zuständig? Wer ist für HR, Planung, Qualität zuständig? Können Sie mir meinen HR-Ansprechpartner nennen? Can you mention my HR contact person? Mit wem soll ich kontaktieren, wenn nicht funktioniert? Mit wem, after mit comes Dativ, soll ich kontaktieren, wenn das Internet, wenn der Laptop, wenn irgendwas nicht funktioniert? With who should I talk or should I contact if something not working properly? Or ich habe hier ein technisches Problem. Wen frage ich am besten? I have a technical problem. Whom should I ask best? Am besten, technisches, technical, and the es because of the article of problem. Das Problem, ein technisches Problem. Or we can use the verb sich wenden an plus Akkusativ. To refer to. An wen kann ich mich wenden, wenn das Internet, der Laptop nicht funktioniert, wenn ich ein Dokument brauche? And the answer can be, er ist verantwortlich für das Netzwerk. Mr. X is responsible for the network. Or, er ist für das Netzwerk zuständig. Verantwortlich für equal bin zuständig für plus Akkusativ. Responsible for als tätig sein or für zuständig sein. Responsible for. Who is responsible for? So asking about who is responsible for certain tasks or responsible for you like HR partners is really important because you will need to contact them if you want a vacation or some important documents and so on. Let's talk about verb übernehmen, to take over. You can use it in many situations. Aufgabe übernehmen. And the opposite is abgeben, to take a task or to submit a task. Auftrag übernehmen, die Aufgabe, der Auftrag übernehmen, der Auftrag abgeben. Der Auftrag und die Aufgabe, both are almost the same. Task or assignment. Der Auftrag, die Aufgabe. Tätigkeit übernehmen. In this context comes like task as well, like Aufgabe. Die Tätigkeit übernehmen or die Tätigkeit also abgeben. Die Verantwortung, responsibility, übernehmen, to take the responsibility or Verantwortung tragen, to carry the responsibility. And the opposite is Verantwortung abgeben. For example, du musst die Verantwortung für das Projekt abgeben. You must hand over the responsibility of the project. Or you must give up the responsibility of the project. Der Aufgabenbereich übernehmen or der Aufgabenbereich abgeben. Der Aufgabenbereich, range of tasks. All of those are different words that come with übernehmen, abgeben, with similar meaning. Welche Aufgabenbereiche werden von unserer Abteilung übernommen. Von Dativ die Abteilung convert to der, unserer. Welche Aufgabenbereiche werden von unserer Abteilung übernommen? What range of tasks are taken over by our department? Unsere Abteilung, our department, übernimmt, take over folgende Aufgaben. Our department take over the following tasks. Now, after we took some examples about knowing your Ansprechpartner, your contact person, for different situations or for different tasks. Also, we talk about verb übernehmen and abgeben. Let's move to another topic. In the first few weeks, it's very common to hear new words or complex information during a normal conversation or meetings. It's important to make sure you ask questions and try your best to understand the core of the discussion. Therefore, let's talk about Verständnis sichern, ensuring understanding. Das Verständnis, understanding. Verb sicher comes from sicher, adjective sicher, to ensure. If you don't understand something, you can ask, dürfen Sie mir bitte den Vorgang noch einmal erklären? Verb erklären, to explain. May you please explain the process once again? Der Vorgang, process. And here it comes as accusative. Or, bitte noch einmal von vorne. Please from beginning. Ich habe das nicht verstanden. Please again from the beginning. I have not understood that. Ich habe das nicht verstanden. I didn't understand that. Or if there is new terms that you don't know, you can say, tut mir leid, sorry, ich höre diesen Begriff heute zum ersten Mal. Was ist das? Or was bedeutet das? Ich höre diesen Begriff because of accusative case. Der Begriff, term, heute zum ersten Mal. Zu dem, zusammen, zum. Erst, adjective, after that en, adjective declination, mal. I am sorry, I am hearing this term today for the first time. Was ist das? Or was bedeutet das? What's the meaning of that? Similar questions. Darf ich hier noch einmal nachfragen? Can I ask something here? And for example, for new Begriffe or for new terms, you may not know how to write it. You can ask, dürfen Sie das buchstabieren? Can you spell it? Or there is a written form of a new term that you don't know how to spell it. So you can say, wie spricht man das aus? Aussprechen, to pronounce. Wie spricht man das aus? To ask about pronunciation for a certain term. Or, ich kann Ihnen nicht folgen. Tut mir leid, ich kann Ihnen nicht folgen. Sorry, I cannot follow you. And their answer can be, kein Problem. Wir gehen alles nochmal durch. No problem, we will go through it again. Wir gehen alles nochmal durch. We will go through all again. Oder kein Stress. Es gibt schon eine Schulung dafür. Schulung, Training. And we took before Schulung, Weiterbildung in chapter 1. So after knowing some examples how to ask about unclear terms or unclear points, those examples are really helpful, especially in the first weeks. In the next slide, let's talk about the most important points that we talk about it in this chapter. So in this slide, I have collected the most important points from my point of view. Word die Einrichtung used as equipment and facility, and if we change ein with Vorrichtung means jigs and tools. Verb durchführen, to perform, überwachen, to monitor, to perform an assembly analysis, to perform a survey or changes on something. Word task or assignment, when you take or when you submit a task and assignment, die Aufgabe or der Auftrag, die Aufgaben oder die Aufträge. Assignments or tasks. Verb sich befinden in, when you want to talk about location or describe a location to somebody. When you want to talk about availability of something, zur Verfügung stellen or adjective verfügbar. Verb aufhängen and the important verbs übernehmen and abgeben. Auftrag or Aufgabe, übernehmen and abgeben. To take and to submit a task. Also, to check results, das Ergebnis prüfen. Those are the most important points from my point of view in chapter 2. In the end of chapter 2, I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you leave me a comment or a message telling me if you really learned something from this course so far. Thanks a lot and see you in chapter 3. Salam everybody.
Salam everyone, welcome to chapter 3, in Büro, in the office. In chapter 2, you have already learned how to describe where common areas are located using verb sich befinden in. Also, defining your team's task using the combination between nouns, tasks, and assignments, die Aufgabe, der Auftrag, and also the two verbs übernehmen, to take a task, and abgeben, to submit. Also, we talked about contact person, der Ansprechpartner, and how to know who is responsible for a certain thing. And at the end, we talked about ensuring understanding, das Verständnis sichern. Now let's talk about chapter 3. And as usual, here are the grammar topics that we will use in chapter 3. And here are the deadlines of chapter 3. Das Konstruktionsbüro, die Konstruktionsabteilung, the design office or design department. Beruf und Zulassungsabteilung, the testing and approval department. Planungsabteilung, Planungsingenieur, the planning department or planning engineer. Fertigungsabteilung, the manufacturing or production department. And at the end, the Wortschatz. How chapter 3 is organized? I use this symbol to represent your chef or your team leader or your colleague. And I use this symbol to represent your answer or question or maybe your comment. And here for a side note. The structure of the slide will look like that. The conversation part is here, das Gespräch. The important notes part is here, Wichtige Notizen. Most of words are color-coded.
Today we are in the Konstruktionsbüro, construction office or design office. The routine conversation between you and your colleagues can be: Haben Sie die Länge des Tunnels berechnet? Die Länge, the length. And to make it clear, I will use this illustrator. Die Länge, the length. Die Breite, the width. For the thickness or the height, we can use die Höhe for the height, die Dicke and die Stärke for the thickness. Back to our example. Haben Sie die Länge des Tunnels berechnet? Here is the key verb is berechnen, to calculate. Have you calculated the length of the tunnel? And the use of this and s and the end, I think now you know what that. It's genitive. Der Tunnel, the tunnel. Der Brückenbau, bridge construction. Das Gebäude, building. Die Brücke, bridge. You can say die Gesamtlänge as one word or die gesamte Länge as two separate words. Gesamtlänge, total length. Gesamt here, entire as adjective, and in this case you will use the end for the adjective. E because of the article die. Die gesamte Länge, then you can use genitive form. Normally when two nouns come after each other, we use genitive form. Die gesamte Länge des Tunnels mit Rampe beträgt 400 Meter. And the key verb here is betragen, when you want to describe an amount. The total length of the tunnel with the ramp amounts to 400 meters. And the noun of verb betragen is der Betrag, the amount. For example, you can say der Betrag der Rechnung ist 100 Euro. The amount of the invoice is 100 Euro. And in this example, we used genitive as well. Die Rechnung is converted to der Rechnung. Also, it's good to know word Rampe, die Rampe, which is ramp. We can use it for ramps like that in buses or for big slopes in tunnels. So to describe both of them, we use Rampe, die Rampe. Let's move from dimension to material. Das Material, die Materialien. And our first example, welche Rohmaterialien können wir hier verwenden? And the keywords here are das Material, die Materialien, das Rohmaterial, and verb verwenden, to use. Welche? E because of the article die Rohmaterialien können wir hier verwenden. Your answer can be: als Rohmaterial können wir das und das verwenden. As raw material, we can use this and this material. Now let's look at the second main point, using verb abhängen von. For example, ein gutes Klima des Baus hängt vom Material ab, which means a good climate of the building depends on the material. Abhängen von plus dativ, count on. It's a trimbar verb, so part of the verb comes at the end of the sentence. Adjektiv, Deklination. Ein gutes Klima des Baus, der Bau, building, like das Gebäude. Des Baus, Genitiv, hängt vom Material ab. And look at the grammar note here. Abhängen von always requires a genitive case. That's why here we say vom. Von plus dem. Vom Material. Das Material, das converted to dem. Von plus dem equal vom. Finally, about this slide, let's talk or ask about the advantage or disadvantage for a certain material. And the keywords here are der Vorteil, der Nachteil, advantage and disadvantage. Was sind die Vorteile, wenn Material X verwendet wird? In this sentence, you can see passive case is used. Was sind die Vorteile? What are the advantages when Material X is used? Wenn Material X verwendet wird. Or sehen Sie die Nachteile in Material X? Do you see the disadvantages in Material X? Sehen Sie Vorteile in Material X? Do you see advantages in Material X?